Good morning to all the participants who've joined so far. We'll be waiting for more participants to join us and we'll be beginning shortly. A very good morning to all. Welcome to today's webinar, Digital Tools for Communication. That's the last part of a corporate dynamic series. Thank you all for attending this session today. Today's webinar is hosted by Nagindas Khanwala College. The college was founded in July 1983 and is one of the best colleges in the western suburbs of Mumbai. It has been imparting quality education since the last 4 decades. The college is affiliated to the University of Mumbai and re-accredited by UGC NAC with A grade. The college has shown tremendous growth in a short span of time and has been conferred with the autonomous college status in the academic year 2016-17. Mission Skills is an initiative by Nagindas Khanwala College and the Center for Sports Management. We are extremely thankful to respected Principal Dr. Ansi Jose ma'am and Dr. Varsha Ainapure ma'am. Before we start, let me explain how you can talk to us during this webinar. There will be a small Q&A box at the bottom of your screens and you can put in your questions and we'll be taking all those questions at the end of the session in the Q&A section. And you can also use the chat box features if you want to answer whatever the speaker is asking during the session. So we are all living in a digital age and we are constantly shuffling between smartphones, tablets, laptops, and always trying to communicate to each other, trying to stay in touch constantly. And we can communicate with anybody, anywhere around the world with a simple click of a button. What are the different tools that we can use to stay in touch or to get the work done? Yes, as a student, we have been using a lot of social media, I must say, or just regular emails. And now, yes, most of you all are using Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Google Meets to attend these sessions. And all the more in the last few months, everybody's usage of digital tools has increased more than ever. So let us know how and which tools we can use as a student, and even when you get into a corporate life, what are the different tools that we can use when we are into these businesses. It is my great pleasure to introduce the speaker for today, Captain Salim Mansoori sir. He is a motivator and a natural leader. He has an exceptional ability to grasp minutest of details, and he drives projects with keen interest and passion. He has a corporate experience of more than 32 years. He is currently a director at Mainco Infrastructure Limited, and he has also a lot of experience on the software development. With great pleasure, sir, I welcome you for today's session. So the session is over to you.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, let me thank the Nagindas College of Arts, Commerce and Management Studies. I would also like to thank Vipul sir, Sneha madam, Anjali madam, and Vasudha madam. Okay. As Sneha madam has already explained what we are going to talk about. In today's era, we all know that we've been using technology. We have been having, mobile phones. We are using laptops. We are using tablets. So we are using various gadgets for our communication purpose. But nowadays we know that we are just not only doing communication over the voice, but we are using a lot of other features wherein we are interacting over mails, chats, so on and so forth. So let's take this presentation ahead and let's understand what we are going to talk about collaboration of tools of modern age and how it's going to help in our life going forward in all these spheres of our life, whether in our education system or whether in our corporate life or whether in our social life. Technology collaboration, as the headline says very clearly that how we are going to collaborate using various technologies and ensure whatever our businesses are or our purpose is, how are we going to use it. Today, we all know that we are conducting this session with you using this technology platform. Okay. What is the reason behind it? The reason behind it is because of this pandemic, the corona COVID-19, which has spread across the world, and most of the organization uh, can we continue with the presentation? I think. Okay. Since most of the organizations today, they have ensured that the employees have to work from home and the students also have to stay back home. So the educational institutions are ensuring that the education is imparted, there's a continuity, and students are getting uh, their classes or their education. There is no break in that. So educational institutions are ensuring that you are being imparted education on a continuous basis, as it happens in the corporate world, wherein the work doesn't get hampered. There is a very typical term which is being used in the corporate called business continuity plan. And most of the companies, MNCs across the world, they have these plans in place. Like whenever there's a technology failure, so they ensure that this business continuity plan is enforced. Now today, this can happen because of various reasons. Now this is, as we know that the pandemic has spread across, and most of the organizations have ensured that the employees are working from home, and hence there has to be continuity in business. There is no gap in the productivity. The productivity is on. As you know, most of the IT companies, whether it is Wipro, TCS, Infosys, or Capgemini, Accenture, their employees are working from home and the business is continuing. There is no break in the business. Yes, I understand there is an issue with respect to the manufacturing setup wherein the employees are not able to reach out to their factories or their workplaces. But yes, their offices are functioning. Most of the government offices are also functioning. So keeping this background in mind, let's understand which are the tools which are being used across. Okay, there was a survey which was being recently conducted uh, for the CIO Association of India. Now, what is CIO? CIO is Chief Information Officer. They are the decision makers with respect to IT related aspects in the organizations. So the survey was conducted for 235 approximately CIOs of India, and the survey came out very clearly in favor of the two, basically, tools or two applications which are being largely used, and it was led by Microsoft team. Out of 235, 88 votes were in the favor of Microsoft Teams and Zoom, which we are using today. So we all know how it functions, features, and many students out of you would have participated in webinar, in classroom sessions like this using these technologies in the past. Okay, so Zoom was uh, next in the line in the survey, And thereafter, there were other applications also, like Google Hangouts, Meet, Skype. Skype Now Skype is primarily being used in the corporate. Skype initially was being used at an individual level, but now in last 2 decades or so, it has been integrated more or less for the corporate world. So there it is being used. And then Cisco WebEx. Earlier it was being known as WebEx, but then Cisco acquired it, and that's how it is Cisco WebEx. They are the next popular choices after Microsoft Teams and Zoom. This is purely with respect to the corporate and this kind of large interactions. Okay. Now, besides this Microsoft Teams and Zoom, there are other applications also in the market. Primarily, where again there is this applications or these tools, they are bundled with a lot of other applications. Like there is a video conferencing, there's a communication, and they're strongly linked with each other, like Office suites. Okay, Microsoft Office 365, it takes a majority lead in this particular sector, with a 53% of respondents opting for it, and followed by Google Suite, in where there was a vote share of 47%. Okay, now uh, Microsoft Office, as you know, most of our computers and desktops, they come with Microsoft Office, MS Office, and largely all the organization are using MS Office. Okay, so that's the reason. Like you have now, you have an Outlook, you have MS Office, so that's where the entire package is bundled with, and that is how the corporates largely are using this, and hence it takes a lead over there. But there are small setups who don't have a big deeper pockets, they cannot afford to have it, so people are shifting over to G Suite or maybe educational institutions where they want to save on cost, because Microsoft comes with a particular cost. Now the reason behind Microsoft taking on the lead is because, as I said before, most of the corporate organizations are using it, and it is very safe, secure. Most of the data, which is, or the minutes of meeting which are being recorded, or the videos which are being recorded, they are being saved on the servers of the organizations. That's how it takes the lead. And as a matter of fact, let me tell you that when we have to choose a particular technology, we have to be very sure that that technology has to work in the ecosystem. Say an employee has Android phone and is working from home, and you are initiating a conference call from an office where you have an MS Office. Okay, so the integration of technology has to take place. So that's the reason, the selection of your application, selection of your tool is very important going forward with respect to this kind of tools. Okay. Uh, can we play this link, please? We have a small little video for you. It's just about a minute plus video.
बच्चे को स्कूल में पढ़ाना है, एडमिशन फुल है। चलो गांव में स्कूल नहीं है तो कैसे पढ़ेगी? अगले मेरे पोती को भर्ती, गांव में स्कूल नहीं है तो कैसे पढ़ेगी? अरे वो पढ़े। एक स्कूल में सबको कैसे पढ़ाऊं? आइडिया। Good morning, children. Good morning, children. Chup. Good morning, teacher. बोलो. Good. 2 3s are 6. 2 5s are
Okay. Back to that slide only. Okay. So let me tell you, this ad is of year 2008, wherein, we didn't have those kind of smartphones. And this particular ad gives a very loud and clear message to all of us that there was a challenge of imparting education to students who were staying in remote areas, and there were some students who couldn't seek admission in some good schools. Okay, so it has been very clear in this video. It implies very clearly that whosoever is the lead, he's ensuring that the students are imparted education, but he's using a technology. Okay, and that's how you have to think about collaboration of technology for ensuring that the education is imparted. And precisely today, your education or other education or other organizations, they are ensuring that the continuity of education remains in place. Okay, but those days there was a challenge because the technology was completely different. Now the technology is completely different. You can see the presentation, you can see the speaker, you can interact, you can raise questions, you can seek clarification on certain things. So going forward in the when we are running through the presentation, we'll get more ideas and details about how this collaboration tools helps you going forward. Over to the next slide. Okay, this is a very there are certain icons on this particular slide, and I would request students to just put the name of this particular icon in the chat. Okay, uh, I hope most of the students know about it, that this is WhatsApp. Okay, I think, yeah, everybody knows about it because it's a very popular application which everybody is using these days. We're using it for chat, we're using it for sharing of okay, let me tell you about WhatsApp. Something, when initially it started off, it was just sharing messages. Over a period of time, it transitioned into sharing files. Again, there were limitations. You could share only a 5 MB file or less than that. Over a period of time, today you are sending sharing files which may be 1 GB or so, or maybe more than that. uh, it was only pics, file, video clips, but now you see that you are sharing also Word files, PPT, Excels, a lot of other files you can share, interact with the set of people. You can also do video conferencing using WhatsApp, but there's a limitation to it. You can only have 8 people in a video conferencing. So there are limitations of this application. Okay, next one. Again, this is a popular, I don't if students can name it. Okay, people are participating, good, appreciate that. This is Facebook. Many of us using it in our day-to-day life, interacting with our friends, colleagues. You're organized. Again, let me bring out your knowledge again. Students who are participating in this webinar, this session of ours is being live streamed on Facebook. So see how technology is being used. We are using Zoom. We are using Facebook as well for the same webinar. Next one. Okay, this is Microsoft Teams. Very professional. Okay, here before you get onto the name, I would like to ask the students if any one of you know which is this particular icon. Good. Okay. No, it's not Citrix. Somebody has mentioned WebEx. All right. Okay. Good. It is WebEx. Largely being used in conference. While I was in organization in Wipro, we were using this for exhaustively for many meetings, and I'll come out with a lot of our experience, how we were using it, for what all purpose we were using it. Okay. Good. So I understand many of you are using this on a personal level, but how these are being used at an organizational level, because they are being interacted with the MS Office tools, and that is how it is being used in the corporate organizations. Okay, can you name this please? Duo? Zoom. Okay, people are confused between Duo and Zoom. Let's give out the name to them. Okay, it is Zoom. They look little similar, but they're slightly different. This one, FaceTime. Oh, good. So many of you know this is FaceTime. No, it's not Hangout, it's FaceTime. Okay. This is basically iOS based, Android, iPhone based. Here there are challenges. You have to be very clear in using these technologies for video conferencing. There are limitations of these tools. As I said, FaceTime, it is iOS based. So when you initiate a meeting or a conference call, so the other person needs to also have FaceTime. You cannot integrate technologies. G Suite, the name itself is very clear, amply clear, and most of us know about it. And we will deliberate on all these tools going forward, except for WhatsApp and Facebook. Okay. Now there are before you select a particular technology, you have to study a lot of features about them, and that is how you need to select a technology for your video conferencing, because that's a very important aspect. You have to ensure, like today I see there are almost 239 participants in this particular webinar. Okay. And if I was using a Google Meet, it would have allowed me only 150, though there is no time limit. But yes, there are other features which are there. There's a chat feature, but it does not allow recording. Okay. Now here, while we are going through this session, this particular event is also being recorded, and going forward, who has missed it, they can also attend to it. So you have to think about selecting a technology before you get into a video conferencing. As the slide, it's very clear that Zoom, the second particular application, it talks about only 100 participants, and there's a limitation of 40 minutes, though it would be free, but there's a limitation. Zoom paid, yes, you can have more than 100, it can last for 24, but then it comes with the cost. Okay. It is mentioned there approximately $15 a month. FaceTime, the restrictions are very clear, only applicable to the Apple devices, and you can have maximum 32 participants. So using such kind of a technology for such a webinar is of no purpose. Facebook Live, most of you know about it. People stream events on Facebook, whether it is cricket match or whether it is some social function. I would like to bring out, people are using these technologies for various purposes. There was a marriage happening in our one of our friend circle, and the bride and groom were in Mumbai, but apparently they had a lot of relatives and friends and folks out of other geographies who were in UK, Australia, New Zealand, and all that, and they couldn't attend. Okay. And that is how this technology was being used. So it's not necessarily that we are using technology only for a specific purpose, whether it is education or corporates or so, but we see they are being used everywhere. Okay. So it is being used in social functions. We also see news channels. We, a lot of students watch news. Okay. So you find that the host is sitting in a particular place in his studio, whether it is Mumbai or Delhi, but then he has participants who are present across the locations. Like today in this particular session, many of our students may be based out of Andheri, Borivali, Malad, or maybe Mira Road, or maybe Thane, various places. So that is how you have to choose a technology, understanding the number of participants and various other aspects. Okay. Going to Microsoft Teams, unlimited participants. Here itself it says almost 10,000 participants we can have, but many students or many employees or organization has to have Microsoft MS Office in their office, from where this meeting will be hosted or conducted. Google Hangouts, Skype, so on and so forth. There are many applications. This slide is very clear with respect to how we can go about selection. This is not the only criteria, but there are many other criteria before you hook on to any particular application and you find a right fit for your particular meeting, event or so. And please ensure that it has to work in the whole ecosystem. You cannot have a FaceTime and you have a friend who's having an Android, or your employee's got an Android, or your student has got an Android. They cannot interact with each other. So this is not going to help. So you have to select an application. The way today your institution has ensured that we are on Zoom, and it works in all the ecosystem, whether a student is on FaceTime, whether a student is on Android, whether I am working from my home on a MS Office. Okay, so it is ensuring that we are connected. So that is how you need to be very clear before you select or choose a particular platform or a technology. Next slide, please. Okay, Google Suite. Okay, most of us today have an email ID. It could be Gmail ID, or it could be, Rediff or Yahoo or anything for that matter. But primarily here we are going to focus on 3-4 technologies. So let's start off with G Suite. Now G Suite, as you all know, it is bundled with a lot of applications. Okay, here initially it was just, people had just their Gmail ID, and they could just log in into their Gmail account, write mails and receive mails, and that was the end of it. But now there are so many applications which they have bundled. Like there's a calendar, there's a Google Drive, there are docs, there are sheets, there is a YouTube, there is a map, there are photos. So there are many applications which are bundled with, and you can see how they can be used subsequently. Here, why we are saying this is, why particularly about G Suite. There is, say, a small startup, it just started off business. It cannot afford to have a Microsoft Office in its office. It has maybe a minimum 5 to 10 employees only. It has to interact with its suppliers. It has to interact with its clients. So there is a video conferencing application of G Suite. And like there are applications like YouTube. If you have a product, you can share an image of the product. If you have a clip of the product, or maybe a manufacturing process, or maybe a construction site for that matter, you can share it on YouTube. So there are many features which are bundled in this particular application, and which helps. And how it helps, I'll share it in the subsequent presentation. Onto the right hand side, we see Zoom, which we are using now. Here we are just talking about, how to log in and how to view and how to share presentations and all that on Zoom. But there is no restriction, again, like the way we are doing our presentation here. It is an PowerPoint presentation, which is an MS Office tool. But yes, that is being presented out here during this course of session. Okay. So we are all using Zoom, and what are the features of Zoom, how you can use it, what is a co-host, what is a co-host, what they can do in this when the meeting is being conducted. So, please understand, students, from your perspective, you would say this is maybe from a corporate perspective. No, it is not so. You students are today participating, and there are your faculties in your college, and they are ensuring that how this presentation is being conducted. So tomorrow you could be somebody who's conducting a presentation like this. You could be a host, you could be a co-host, or maybe your college or institution, a management student, or maybe other students who are assigned certain projects, okay, in their course. So when you're assigned a particular project, you have 8 to 10 members team. So yep. So you have sorry. So you can conduct video chats, live video chats. You can share a screen. Okay. You can use a recording feature, as I brought out initially, that this particular session would be recorded, and students who are missed out, or maybe the institution which requires it going forward, so this particular session can be used. How it is being helped in the organizations. If an organization conducts such kind of a conference call or a meeting, and an employee, for some reasons, there is an issue of network, or he is missed out on that meeting, he's traveling somewhere, or he's busy in some other meeting, but this was also important or pertinent for him to attend this session. So maybe subsequently he can download this meeting and go through it and record the minutes of meeting. The students can also hold brainstorming sessions. It can happen in the classroom, like the way it is happening now. We can have whiteboard wherein something can be jotted down. There can be an interaction between the students. So this can help in your projects also. It's not necessary that the institution or the organization has to run this, but amongst yourself also you may have some projects to do over a period of time. Here, the way we are interacting, I had asked certain questions to you, which is this icon and all that. Many students participated. So this is online chat, how we are interacting with each other. There is a phone support if there is some issue, that can be used. There are certain FAQs which are available if you are finding some issues. So troubleshooting can be done. Okay. Next one. Okay. This is a screenshot of how and Zoom application would look like when you initially log in or you set up a meeting request. Okay, so whether you want to mute or whether you want to start video or mute video, or you don't want to be seen or whatever, you want to send invites to the participants, you can manage participants and share screen the way we are sharing the screen now. So this is how the screen exactly looks like. As of now, you have just joined this meeting. Okay, so you just got the meeting request, you logged in. But what goes behind the curtains is basically this. This is how the meeting request is being initiated. This is that particular screen. Okay. So the control remains largely with the host and the co-host. So somebody, out of your institution or from the organization is the host, and he may allow somebody to be a co-host also, because the things can go wrong. Yeah, this is from the host view. So if something goes wrong at the host view, he ensures that there's a co-host also in the panel, so he can take control of the features. Okay. Now here, as we see, the participants can be, if there are more number of participants, it will be, if everybody speaks, it will be chaotic. All will speak, nobody will be heard. So that is how this application ensures that you can mute the participants. And as and when, if somebody requests that I want to be unmuted or somebody wants to speak, he raises his hand the way we are doing it in the chat. So that particular speaker is unmuted and he interacts with the speaker. If let me tell you here, stop a participant's video. This is a very important aspect which everybody likes to see speaker, everybody likes to see on this presentation. But just imagine we are almost like 242 participants. Okay, now getting 242 participants in my desktop itself is going to be difficult. Forget about your mobile. Okay, so that's not possible. Besides that, the other challenge of that is that if you live stream a image, it is going to consume your bandwidth, huge bandwidth. And if you students or participants or employees have subsequent meetings also to be participated, and like most of you have a 1.5 or 2 GB data or 3 GB data for the day, and if you live stream something like this, so then it is going to consume your bandwidth and you'll not be able to attend the subsequent sessions. So that is how the host ensures it is good for you, but also there are some challenges of consuming the bandwidth. So that is how the host ensures which video should be presented or which video should be allowed. Okay. Host also ensures that the participant screen sharing is not allowed. Reason being because the importance of the session will be lost. Okay. Host can rename the participant for various reasons. Somebody only wants it his initial to be shared, so it is only the initial which is, because many a times it so happens that this is we think that this is only going to be between the employees in the organization, between the students, and no, it's not so. There are organizations who are interacting with their vendors. Okay, and there could be vendors across the geography. There will be suppliers across the geography, across India. You are based out of Mumbai and you want to buy a product from Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, or Chennai. So it will so happen there are participants who are coming in from various locations. So the supplier or the vendors wouldn't want the competitor to know that who is participating in that particular bid. Okay, that is how they try and rename themselves. Putting them on hold is very clear. Lock the meeting to prevent anyone new from joining. If there is a restriction, if you just have a limit of 150 participants or maybe 100, maybe 200, so it depends on the host how many he can allow or how many he should allow or should not allow. Okay. Now there are at times it so happens that the meeting has started off or the session webinar has started off and some people have joined in late, maybe for various reasons that there was network issues or they were stuck somewhere and they join in late. So they are in a waiting room, and that is how the host ensures that the participant is allowed or participant is removed from the waiting room. And okay, this is also one of the feature wherein if the host allows you to record the meeting or the event or the session locally instead of your institution the way it is recording now and then going to share with you, if the institution allows you or the organizations allows you, because maybe this file is going to be huge, it may be 5 GB 10 GB, so sharing it on a mail or sharing it on an application would be difficult, so that is how it is allowed. Okay, it can be recorded locally at your end. Next, please. G Suite, there are three basic versions: basic, business, and enterprises. So I'll not deliberate much on it, but it allows 100 participants in basic and business 150 and enterprises 250. And what are the other features which are very clear? It can also do live streaming in the enterprises, wherein almost 100,000, which is 1 lakh people can view. Now this icon, okay. Now G Suite is bundle of lot of applications. As I told, a lot of features are there in that. Let's understand what are those features in G Suite. Let's start off with the first one. I think most of the students know about this. Okay, Gmail, everybody knows. In our days, we had Yahoo, Rediff Mail, Hotmail, and whatnot. But these days, I think most of us have Gmail. And there is an advantage of Gmail. When I explain you with respect to G Suite in the next slide, you'll understand what I'm referring to. So G Suite is not only Gmail, but it's a bundle of a lot of applications besides Gmail. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is Google Drive. Good. Herein you can store a lot of files, your images, or maybe presentation, or maybe video clips, which is okay. The next one, somebody's already answered the next one, which is calendar. Good. Okay. The next, Google Sites. Excellent. Okay. No, it's not forms. There are sites. This is Google Docs. Excellent. Okay. Hangout. I think most of us know this feature, these applications. Anybody for this? Classroom. Excellent. How these features can be used, I cannot go much into details, but I'll just brush upon few of them when we go through, when we run through the presentation. Google Forms. Google Currents. Okay. Anybody for this? Duo. It's not Duo, it's Meet. It's Google Meet. Okay. This Vault. Okay. Now, all these applications, these are bundled. This G Suite is very good for a startup or a small organization or a proprietary level in organization. At an individual level, this is really helpful. Microsoft, you need to have licenses in your organization, even if it is 5-member team, 10-member team. If you have a pirated version, they most of these applications or conferencing tools are not going to work over a period of time on that. So G Suite is one thing because it is an open source, and that's how these applications run. You see, it runs on an Android phone also, and it runs on any of the PC, even if it's got some pirated version also. So how this is helpful for a startup or for a small business or for a small group of people, small organization, maybe social organizations, charity organizations, they cannot afford to spend more because their pockets are not deep. So they generally go for this application, this conferencing tools. And when I say about G Suite, how it can be used. Now Gmail is just interacting over the mail, but if somebody wants to conduct a conference call, we have a Google Meet. Okay. Uh, Over to the next slide. I'll share, how we are going to use Google Meet per se. Okay, this is my Gmail account. Okay, I have logged in Gmail account, and onto the left hand side you see a red arrow. You see this red arrow. Okay, this arrow very clearly highlights start a meeting. Now this session is with respect to video conferencing tools and applications. So how we are going to collaborate with using technology. So we are going to emphasize on that. Now here, if you look at, we have the start meeting onto the left hand side, and onto the right hand side you see there is a drop down of all these applications or the features. Again, there I have highlighted an icon called Meet. If you click any of this, okay, if you if you click the link or you click the icon, you will go to a video application wherein you can initiate a request for a conference or a meeting. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So when you click those link or that button, you will come to this page where it shows you camera is off, mute, or you want to click, or if you right away started off the meeting, then it's a different thing. But you're initiating a meeting request now. Okay, maybe in your group of friends, you are having a project and somebody out of is initiating a request, or your institution has done it. So your institution or an organization has gone through this process. So I'm just making you understand how we go about it. Okay, so onto the right hand side you see there's a meeting ready, and it has clicked. It has a link below, okay, which is already generated, and it says join now. Okay, once you click this join now, you go on to the next screen, wherein this is how you will get the next screen. Okay, the next screen gives you the same link. Okay, before we go on to the next this thing, let's focus on this. Here it gives a link to you. You can copy this link, and I think maybe your institution has done the same. This meeting request was sent to you over a WhatsApp or an SMS. Okay, so this is copied. This is a meeting request which has come to you, or this is being sent by an organization who is the administrator or host of that particular event. He ensures copying of this link, sent it over a WhatsApp, email, or various other application. At the same time, okay, the panelist has said we had sent it on mail. Fair enough, perfect, fine. Thank you, sir. So here we had sent it on a mail. Now let's see how we go about sending it on a mail. Let's go to the next. Okay. So this is how we go about sending a invitation over a mail. Now onto the left hand side it says add people. When you click that, so you get drop down of all the email IDs or the people in your group, in your friend circle, in your address book. So they pop up, and you select, like the way I have selected here, Captain Dinesh Desai or Captain Vikas. Captain Dinesh Desai is on a Gmail, but Captain Vikas is at a Hotmail. So both the people on a different email IDs, they are getting this invite, and they can it's okay. So people have got invitations over WhatsApp, over SMS, they have got it on email also. So that is how these requests are being generated. So whether when you are a host or co-host, that is how you have to ensure that you send the meeting request through G Suite. It is so simple. You just log in into your Gmail account, and these features are available, and you're clicking, you're generating the meeting request. uh, you can send the link over WhatsApp, you can send it over email also. Over to the next slide. uh, the meeting request was, I have done this for on my mobile. This is just one of the testing which I had done. It is to make you understand, this is how I got the link. When I click the link, it shows me whether to join the meeting or not. If you look at the link, it shows very clearly the meeting request which was initiated by me from my own email account, and I log in from my mobile. Okay, so this is how most of the students would have done. They would have logged in from their mobile, or they would have logged in from their desktop. This is how G Suite is very simple to use, and it helps many organizations, small or group of friends, or maybe trust, which cannot afford to spend more. Microsoft Teams. At the outset itself, I had said, it leads by in the CIO conference. I said there are people, CIO survey wherein 235 people had participated, and Microsoft was leading there. And again, the next survey, again I mentioned, when it talks about all the conferencing applications, it leads huge, because most of our desktop, yeah, 88, that is how the CIO survey wherein people had participated, so they got the vote share of 88. And it led by 53% in almost all the applications, because it is you just have to have an Outlook ID, which is there in the most of the organizations, since you have a desktop with MS Office bundled with all the applications of Microsoft. Okay, so it is very easy in a corporate to use MS Office for this kind of conferencing features. I'll tell you, because uh, I had been in Wipro for more than a decade, and we were using this extensively, and collaborating using WebEx, at times Skype for corporate. So it was a different level altogether. WebEx, like we had video calling, interacting with our headquarter, whether in Bangalore or other offices across India. Now let me tell you here. Uh, I would like to cite an example of our organizations in Wipro. What was happening exactly? There was a Wipro meet, and chairman of the company. Uh, I hope everybody knows his name, Wipro chairman. Maybe the students are aware or not. Anybody who can guess his name? Chairman of Wipro? Good. Azim Premji. Okay. So he had to address all the employees, not only across India, across all the geographies of the world. Okay. India, we have offices. We had offices in Bangalore, almost 10 to 15 different locations. Mumbai, I was heading the western region, so Mumbai, I had almost 15 offices. We had Powai, Sakinaka, Belapur, Airoli, Malad. Everywhere we had offices. Now, just imagine, every office employees are participating. I'm not talking about today. I am talking about almost 15 years back. We were using all these features. We were using all these conferencing tools. So employees were participating. Rishad Premji is his son. Okay, Azim Premji's son. Today, yes, of course, he is the chairman. Somebody raised the query, so I'm responding to that. So this conferencing tool was being used across India, where the chairman was addressing employee. Now you would say he was just addressing, so it could be one-sided. No, it was not so. There were, like, the way you are raising your hands and raising questions, though we didn't have those features then, but yes, we could ask questions over the video call itself. Okay. There were employees who were working on the systems or the platforms where they could not have MS Office, or they could not have video conferencing tools on their desktops or on their laptops. So, and they also wanted to attend this conference. So we used to telecast this conference in respective cafeteria. I used to telecast in Powai, in a Belapur office. So employees used to come to cafeteria and see the entire session happening on a large screen. And if some employee had a question to ask, so the HR function would note down his question, send it to the HR in the Bangalore, who would read it out to Mr. Premji, and Mr. Premji would then revert back in that conference. And over a period of time, it was a live interaction. The employee was asking right away to Mr. Premji over a phone. And this was not only, as I said, not only in India, we had presence across the world, like employees from Canada, UK, US, Romania, China, Philippines. Employees used to participate from all the geographies of the world. So that is how a advantage of using a technology, and particularly where a technology like Microsoft, not Microsoft Teams has come now, because those days we did not have Microsoft Teams. So we were using WebEx particularly. Okay. And but it was being run on a Microsoft application. We can have one-on-one meeting. That's almost in every feature, WhatsApp or Duo or maybe Zoom, we can do that. But we can have also multi-party, the way I explained just now about multi-party video calling, scheduling. Okay, here it's very important. Now say somebody who is requesting for a, he's hosting a meeting. So you just have to have an Outlook ID, that's it. And the entire thing is then you don't have a separate login ID, you don't require credentials to be generated, password to be generated. You are an employee of the organization, you have an ID of that particular organization of Outlook or Office application, and you're using it. So that particular email ID is sufficient for you, whether you are salim.mansoori@infosys.com or microsoft.com. That's it. Thereafter you can log in into all these features. You don't require separate login credentials for any conferencing. So that is how the advantage of Microsoft Teams. Okay. And here, when the meeting is initiated, it also gets onto your calendar. So the meeting would have been requested maybe a fortnight back. So the Outlook, your Outlook box gives you a prompt to you a week in advance or 3 days in advance, the way it is being set in by the host, that okay, the reminders needs to go out to the people who are going to participate. Maybe it has happened in your case also. Okay, so and similarly it happens in G Suite also. There you say you had seen the calendar. That is how you can use a calendar. You can ensure that you send a reminder, and the meeting request can be planned well in advance. Support for external users. As I told you, we had presence across the geographies. So also we had vendors across the geographies. We had client across the geography. We had a client like an airline from Singapore, and airline from US also. We had a capital credit card company out of UK. We had a telecom company out of US. So when we had to interact with them, so they were not part of our organization, but then we had to interact with them. They were external users, and they also had they need to get into this conference calls. So that is how it supports the external users, whether they are your client, they're your external users also. Like again, you can record video calls and conferences, and you can share control screen the way here it is happening in other applications. Some of the features are very common in most of the applications, whether it is Zoom, G Suite or Microsoft. Today we've seen, people are participating in various conference calls, webinars or meetings from different locations. So the set of companies who have developed this application, they have come up with a lot of features. Here it is like, if you are traveling, you are in a train, you are on a bus stop, or you're on a railway station, so you don't want something what is there behind you. So these background screens or scenes are being used, so that can be blurred. I guess that is here in Zoom also. Okay, whiteboard masking, live captions. As we saw that ad of initially of IDEA, wherein the students who were staying in remote places or they were studying in some municipal schools, the idea the ad comes out that you can reach out to those students. Similarly here, these features are being used for special children, wherein if this conference can be used for them. Okay, today there are institutions, there are organizations which are run for especially these children in Mumbai or many other locations. So how do we go about reaching out to those students? Because we don't want their also academic year to be lost, because many of the students are studying, and let me tell you, many of them are brilliant, and their hearing and that is very sharp. So if they just hear to this conversation, so it will help for them. That is how Microsoft has, ensured that the technology is available to them also. And live events, the way we can broadcast our teams and events happens through Microsoft. As I told you again, citing example of Wipro, there are employees who are participating. We also used to ensure during Wipro days, and even now it happens, we had an event called Josh. Josh is typically like, what you have in your college, Malhar and all that. So we had an event in our organization, Josh, but there are employees working out of Bangalore, the employees working out of UK, employees working out of Canada. So we cannot come at one place and have those kind of events. So we had a lot of, we it was a gala event, employees participating, but at a respective location. And this event had to be broadcast so that all the the employees across the world can see what's happening in Mumbai or what's happening in Bangalore. So that is how the live telecast is being done. The way our event is also being done on Facebook right now. So that is how we can use, using other technology and using Microsoft and using Facebook, using WhatsApp. There is a collaboration of technology which we can do. Okay. Cisco WebEx features largely being used for the corporates. Free version, as I initially also said, there are 100 participants limited to cap of 40 minutes. And its features include very high quality video and audio. Let me tell you, we were regular users of it, and at an personal level, even we are using it now. But dedicated to a room technology wherein you need to have a proper boardroom or a conference room, employees working out of their offices on a desktop. So that is where it is being largely used and being used by the corporates extensively. Okay. Like bot is like, there are chat, there are repeated questions, the applications automatically reply to those kind of queries. They are also using now, this has been lately introduced, like artificial intelligence and machine language. We all know that certain kind of questions are being expected from the participants. So here the artificial intelligence is being used, or the bot is being used to respond to those kind of queries. Screen sharing and file sharing. Okay, similarly what is happening in the Zoom or G Suite or Microsoft, as I explained to you. And again, here, as I told you, with respect to MS Office, many corporates are using it. So there, the email IDs of an organization, that makes a difference. It's working platform. It works in Microsoft environment largely. Okay, it's very difficult to ensure that we work on the other platforms. A very good tool from the security perspective. Very good tool. A lot of data encryption happens. So from security point of view, you all can be rest assured that this is one of the application which is being used by the corporates, keeping the security aspect in mind. Now, while going through all this, okay, technology is a boon and we all understand that, but then there are limitations also of the technology. A virtual class versus a live class, interacting with your students and taking live questions from you is different. But here primarily we are talking about a social with respect to video conferencing tools, and that's the theme of today. So there are limitations. The limitations are like socioeconomic background. The first the ad which we played before, most of the students are like from a rural background, or let's say a municipal school here in Mumbai itself, the students are from lower strata of the society, so they can't afford to have high end phones with a lot of features in it. So they have those basic version phones. So this technology is really not going to help them. Maybe there are set of people, not only that, there are people who are working in organizations, but then there are limitations of technology. So set of people who don't have access to that kind of technology, again there's a challenge. Okay, you have a smartphone, you have a lot of features in it, but the issue is of the network. you're in a place or wherever you're residing or wherever you're working from, that has a network issue. So you won't be able to get into this kind of conference call, or even if you get, there'll be an interruption, there'll be a break. So at times, it doesn't serve the purpose of the meeting or the conference. Frequent power outages. There are many issues with respect to various aspects which has to be explained with respect to power outages. Power outages will ensure that the network the tower, the communication tower of that particular company, whether it is a Jio, Idea, or Vodafone, that's down. So you are not getting any network in your area. Okay, it's there, but you are on a desktop. There is no power, so you are not able to connect. You have a smartphone, but there was no power and you couldn't charge your phone. So there are various issues, frequent power outages, or you're staying in a place where are frequent power outages, and you will face a lot of challenge while selecting a particular technology or a video conferencing tool. So you have to be rest assured that all these aspects are being taken care of. Phone features. Some students do have smartphones, but then there are limitations to it. Like nowadays you have phones with 16 GB or 28 GB or 128 GB and all that, but there were days when the phones didn't have those kind of capacity and if you have downloaded one application, so it was difficult to download the other application. You cannot have Zoom, G Suite, Microsoft, each comes with some MBs or some GBs. Okay, if they come with bundled technologies, so it becomes very difficult to have different applications. So, and also, like, you have stored many video clips or many images in your phones, uh, and it is not allowing you to now download Zoom application in your phone, so you are stuck. Okay, so that is how the phone features also play important role. And the next point is also next two points with respect to phone storage capacity or phone battery will lead to the same issue. Now, with respect to limitations I have shared, but today we are saying that most of the organizations, institutions are using this technology, and within families also we are using it. Okay, as I cited example before of a marriage function. There's a marriage in Mumbai, and there are relatives, folks, and they were in other places. They could log in into that particular event, and they bless the bride and the groom by virtually doing so. Uh, but is it only to that aspect? But today we see our prime minister is interacting with our chief ministers across all the states using these applications. Okay, and he's trying to get the feelers, because today we are going through this pandemic, and nobody can travel. We all know the flights have just resumed on 1st of June. The trains have been recently started, but again there are restrictions to it, that they have to, certain set of people only can travel, they have to get e-pass and all that. But what do the government organizations do who have to interact with each other? A chief minister of Maharashtra has to interact with the remote places of Maharashtra, a district collector of some place, or maybe police superintendent of some place. The way I told you about our prime minister is interacting with the chief minister of Bengal, he's interacting with chief minister of Maharashtra, chief minister of Tamil Nadu, and they are trying to collate data, like how many number of cases are increasing, or how many patients have recovered over a period of time, and how do we go about this. We had 5 lockdowns in a series, but how do we go about unlockdown also? So phase wise they have done this. You and me are just getting information. Okay, ha, kal se market khul gaya hai, and from tomorrow onwards the shops are open, or it will be open alternative. We are just getting this information, but it has been planned at a very high level, and that is how it percolates over a period of time to us. So, but then this has been planned by the head of the country, that is prime minister of our country, along with his office colleagues, and then with the other ministers. Then he's passing on these messages to the chief minister, and then the chief minister is passing on to, and this is, let me tell you, this is all happening using these applications and tools across. Okay, and lastly I would like to uh, cite one last example. How many of you have seen a movie called Three Idiots? You can raise your hands. Okay, quite fast. Okay. Okay. Uh, I guess most of you remember the movie. Maybe it is, I don't know how old it is, 5, 10 years old or so. But there was one scene, wherein there was a challenge of the principal's daughter, who was called Virus in that movie. Okay. And his daughter goes through some complications, and there is a heavy rain outside. And let me tell you, it is an engineering college. Okay. And in that engineering college, nobody knows about how to go about handling that complication. And they have all sorts of problem on that day. There's heavy rains, there is no power, nobody knows how to go about. They're all engineering male students, and there's only this female who's having that complication about the baby child. And there is the sister of that particular actress who's on the other side. She's probably for some reasons gone to the hospital, and she wants to ensure that thing is taken care of. So if you recollect that whole scene, and you imagine how technology was being collaborated. There's no power, the students ensure that they pull out the batteries of the cars, they ensure there's a power in place. And then the video conferencing aspect. Okay. And there is a computer, the other engineer who comes in, he ensures that the desktop is in place, they power the computer, and then the lady doctor on the other side guides one of the engineer how to go about handling that particular case. So that is how technology is being used in various cases. This will be a little weird, to cite one more thing. Of late, we know that the pandemic is on, and many people have died because of this coronavirus, COVID-19. And there are restrictions. Let me tell you, whether it is cremation or whether it is burial, not more than 4 to 5 people can go to that cremation ground or the burial ground. But the family members want to see what's happening there. Okay. So somebody is ensuring that they can see that. So there are various places you can think about using these technologies. It's educational institutions, social institutions. Recent past, I got into an interaction with students who were aspirant to join the defense forces. They want to join Army, Air Force, and Navy. So I was again there, one of the panelists, and I was interacting with them. And there were students across the India, and they had various sort of queries. How do we go about writing NDA? How do we go about writing CDSA? Can we write after 12th? Can we write about So it was a social purpose wherein we are guiding them or motivating them to join the defense forces. The next session which I attended recently, because I am also into real estate, wherein we interacted with the minister of one of the minister of Maharashtra and the association of our developers, and we were having some challenges and issues and how we are going to go about lockdown or the laborers coming to our sites after the unlockdown. And we interacted with the district collector over the same conference call. So people are using it in every sphere, whether it is business, whether it is educational, whether it is trust, whether it is association, organization, friends, within family. So that's how this video conferencing features, applications, tools, whatever you say, can be used in your day-to-day life. And going forward, at least I feel the way I have come from last 20 years till now, things are changing, and this is going to become norm of life over a bit of time. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for that very illuminating session. Attendees, we would now like to open for any questions that you may have. Sir, I actually do have a few questions already come in from our attendees, if I can begin.
Okay.
So now, especially in this world when we are already interacting with the digital world so much, especially because of the pandemic, when we've been pushed into the platform and we are doing so many tasks, it becomes difficult for us to keep track of everything.
Right.
Are there any task management apps or tools that we could use?
There are. Like here, Google Classroom. One of the application was there in the G Suite. Okay. In Google Classroom, if you see how we can go about using it, you can have seamless sessions, you can have paperless. It's going to be completely digital platform. Okay. You can use other tools also, like I said, uh, docs, Google Documents, or Drive, or a calendar. So you need not have have other applications, but you use one application, then there are other features which are available. So you can calendarize those meetings, you can calendarize those sessions, you can upload that particular recording in a Google Drive, and you can access it over a period of time. You can put the presentation in one common drive where other people can access it. So all these features, the tasks become simpler instead of complicating it when people are at different locations.
Absolutely, sir. That would be very helpful indeed. So our students are also talking about applications like Google Keep, for example, and Google Task. If you can
Mhm.
elaborate on that a little bit.
See, Google Task particularly, like uh, you have a task at hand, like if there's an assignment given to your students, okay, which is a task given to you. Okay, sorry. There is a task assigned to the students, or maybe a kind of a assignment which is given to the students, and the whosoever is assigning it, he wants to keep a track of it, so he can calendarize it and he can make a note of it. This is all going to be digital. Okay. Set of people who are going to submit it, they can submit in the soft copies. As I said, there's a Google Docs. Okay. You can submit on that. Person who's assigned it can check it there itself, and he would know that who's submitted, who's yet to submit, which all are pending, and if he's assigning scores to them, so people would also know that. So this is going to be, if you're using all this is going to be completely simple, easy to monitor and manage tasks also.
Absolutely, so you do make sense. Now, other than the applications that you've already outlined in such detail also, are there any other applications that may be applicable on a classroom level or in a workplace environment?
See, as I told you initially when we started off, I had explained about WhatsApp. But WhatsApp, if you're going to use it, it's okay to have uh, a group of people, maybe you have number of employees, maybe 10, 15, or 20 employees, and you are interacting with them to know about what is the production which has happened for the day, or you want to broadcast a message that tomorrow there is a holiday on so and so event, so you can do that. But when it comes to interacting with them, uh, voice call, there is no issue. But when it comes to a video call, you are restricted only to 8 people. So this is one simple which is free, you can use it. But if you want more than that, I'll tell you, one of my colleague who conducts a karate class. Okay, he conducts it on Duo. So people are using various platforms. There is an educational institution which has gone ahead and conducted exams using these applications. Okay, I understand that. See, we had written ND exams or CDS exams, which was a paper exam. Okay, we had to select one of the options from the multiple choice. It's very easy to do that. Many students who are appearing for JEE and other competitive exams, they're using it. But how do we go about using it during this situation? Because students who are appearing for those kind of entrance examination, they are going to a college or they are going to a particular place where uh, the security is ensured. uh, but when students are at home, how do you conduct exams? So I happened to interact with one of the students who was appearing for exam, and I said, how are you doing it? I thought it was MCQ, but no, it was a subjective question paper which was given to the students. And he answered it. I said, how you are doing it? He said, I'm switching on my camera of my phone or my desktop, and I'm writing in front of the cameras. So there were 3 invigilators who were monitoring 10 students on camera while the student is writing. And after they had finished writing their exams, they scanned the answer sheet and send it to their organization. So that is how people are using technology for, they had used Zoom for this particular test. Okay, because there are, I think, almost 150 students in that institution. Any other question, madam?
No, so that was absolutely right. In such situations, coming up with such innovative ideas is the way forward, actually. And of course, the pandemic has put us in that sort of a situation. So, no, so that was the last question. Thank you once again for spreading light on some of these digital platforms that we were using, but we, of course, were not aware of in such detail. And with this, actually, we would like to conclude the corporate dynamics series. We had a fantastic time arranging the sessions on a variety of topics like leadership skills, decision making skills, emotional intelligence, communication and public relations, creativity, key to way forward, etc. We would like to thank Mr. Subodh Malya, Mr. Abhay Garg, Mr. Suyog Dubey, Mr. Loknathan Nadar, and Mr. Alistair Rodriguez for sharing their knowledge and experiences with our students. Of course, certificates will be issued to the students who have attended all the sessions of the series. We would also like to thank Dr. Mrs. Ansi Jose ma'am for her vision and opening the doors to a rising career in sports management to the youth. We wish to extend our sincere gratitude to Captain Salim Mansoori sir to take the time out today and share his knowledge and experiences with us. You can also share your feedback and mention us in your stories at mission.skills and NASM. A special thanks to the organizing committee for Mission Skills for their unflinching support and coordination. A big thanks to all the attendees for today's webinar and for their kind contribution throughout. Thank you to all of the people who have directly or indirectly contributed to this webinar. Once again, this was a fantastic experience for all of us. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the students, and thank you to all the panelists. Thank you so much.